Hello everyone, it's Kathy and welcome back here in my craft room and here on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. Thanks so much. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. If you watched yesterday's live, you would have seen me doing my unboxing of this beautiful mini catalog. This is what I like to refer to as our fall and Christmas catalog. Now they have some other things in here as well, but it is really the holiday catalog, and that includes the fall, the Thanksgiving, and of course Christmas. I mean, no mini catalog from September through December would be complete without an array of Christmas items. And I have to say that I believe Stampin' Up! Outdid themselves this year. I was a little disappointed last year because they only had one nativity stamp, and it didn't have dies or anything. It was just a standalone stamp set. But this year, if you watch the unboxing, they really outdid themselves in so many different areas, but especially the Oh Holy Night. I can't open this not until the catalog goes live in September, but I was able to show y'all a lot of the products. What I want to do today, and I'm going to bring up my grid mat just so we're not seeing the reflection of the ceiling fan. And I have everything in a nice little neat box here. And I've got some inks, and I don't know if I'm going to use all of these because these were the colors I used on the card that was given away yesterday. And it was a beautiful, I think I still have the card because I hadn't mailed it out yet. But this was the card that I made, and we're going to do something very similar to this. We're going to use an embossing folder. We're going to use some cardstock, colored cardstock for our card base. We're going to mat in white, and we're going to choose some different colors to coordinate our pieces. So with all that being said, let me go ahead and show you what we're going to do. These are the three colors that I really want to concentrate on, and that's Pool Party, Blueberry Bushel, and Berry Burst. I think these colors are so pretty. And we're also going to use some VersaFine for some sentiments. The papers that I have chosen to work with, and I'm just going to lay these papers over because I pulled some of my papers out and I've gotten all of my card bases pretty much ready to go. So let's go ahead and start with the Pool Party. So, and I'm going to show you what I have planned for each one of these cards, and I think you're going to love it. You know what, let's start with the Blueberry Bushel. The reason I'm going to do that is I already have my dies on the cardstock for that. We're using the stylish shape dies, and I'm using two of the circles, the two largest circles in this bundle, and I'm also using the exposed brick 3D embossing folder. So what I want to do first is let's do our embossing and our let's do our embossing and our stamping first and get that out of our way. So I'm going to bring up my large Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I might zoom y'all out a little bit so that you can see the full spectrum of my embossing machine. And the first thing I want to do is I want to emboss, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss a piece of the white, this is the basic white thick cardstock, and I'm going to emboss first. So to emboss I need my number 1 plate and I need my number 4 plate because this is a 3D embossing folder. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our cardstock in here, and if you notice this line, it's like a registration line, just to line your cardstock up and get it nice and straight. And then I'm going to fold that over just like that. Then we're going to lay that on our number 1 plate, and you want to feed in, if at all possible, on the closed edge. So we're going to put that in like that and lay this in over top of it, and then we're just going to crank it through. And of course it's going to wiggle on the paper. If I had this sitting on my glass mat, it wouldn't wiggle as much, but it's the this wants to slide, the paper wants to slide on my mat. So that's just one of those things. Oh, and I did pick up a piece of my paper, but we didn't do anything to that because it was on the slick part of the embossing folder. So we didn't mess that up, thank goodness. So I'm going to pull out my other plates because now we're going to do some cutting. Let's open this up. And you know what? I think what I might do while I'm doing this, I'm going to do the other 3 pieces as well. So I'm going to lay that one to the side. And let's go ahead and do the one for the pool party. That way we don't have to replicate this 2 different times. We can just go ahead and get all of this done in one shot. And let's take these plates off because we just need that number 1. We'll lay these over here for just a minute. And let's go ahead and crank this through. And let's do one more. I am going to do 3 different cards in those 3 different colors just to show you how pretty this can be on different textures that you, or different shades of cardstock and designer series paper that you might use with it. So I'm going to lay this in this way and we're just going to crank it back through. So I had so much fun on yesterday's live, just being able to share with y'all all of the beautiful things that I had purchased from the mini catalog, and it was so much fun to share all of that with y'all, and I appreciate y'all for allowing me to do that. It was so much fun. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay these back in. We can lay that embossing plate out of our way, or embossing folder. Now I want to bring my cut plate back in and my thin adapter. So your thinlet adapter is number 2, and I have a cut plate number 3. And I'm going to lay both of these on here just like that and put my cover plate, which is a number 3, over top. And now we are just going to feed this through just like this. If you are in the market for a really good die cut machine, I cannot stress what a good machine this is. It is outstanding. You will not be disappointed. So here is one of our circles, and this is the blueberry bushel, and there's one. And then we also have the white one, which we're going to stamp on this one, and that will be our sentiment. I'm going to lay this one right there because we are going to be cutting some more. I'm not going to do any cutting with the other ones until I get to them. We'll just bring the machine back up when we get there. So I'm going to lay my plates and everything and just set this down out of the way because we will definitely be using that again. Alright, so now we're going to bring these over, and this is our card base, and this piece right here, let me zoom y'all back in just a hair. Oops, wrong way. About like that. This piece is 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to use our scoring tool, the Simply Scored scoreboard. And we are going to put this on, and on the 8.5 inch side, and we're going to score this at 4 1/4. So give it a good score, turn it over, put it up into that corner, and then just give it a press. We are going to do that with all 3 of our card bases. So here is our berry burst. We're going to do the same thing, 4 1/4 on that 8.5 inch side, fold it over and give it a burnish, just a finger press for right now. And then we're going to do our pool party, and again 8.5 inch side, and score it at 4 1/4, just like that. Turn it over and fold it in half. Those are our 3 card bases. So now we can move this out of our way. And we're going to go back to the blueberry bushel. We're going to do this one first. And I'm going to grab my bone folder because I do want to give this a really good crease. And it doesn't matter which way. Just give it a really good burnish because this is what allows your card to lay down. And it helps sometimes if you do both sides. So I find that to be most helpful. So this is going to be our piece for our inside. So that's going to go in like that. We're going to use one of these exposed brick that's going to go on the front like that. And I have a couple pieces of designer series paper, and this one is going to go about to here. This piece is going to go right here. We're going to grab our circles, and this one is going to go right about here. Let's move that over just a hair. And this is a great way to use up scraps, especially in your 6x6 paper packs, because we always have strips out of here. If you cut a mat that is 4 inches by 5 1/4, you're going to have that section over here that's going to be 2 inches. So you can very easily use those to get these dimensions out of this. And then we're going to take this piece and lay it down like so. Isn't that pretty? And the other thing that we can do, if you want to add some ribbon or something to this, this would be a great place to bring in, like the pink would be beautiful on this. I think I'm going to cut a piece of pink, maybe about like that. I love to just kind of loop it like that. And I'm going to grab my fabric scissors because I do love to cut my ribbon with fabric scissors. It keeps my other scissors nice, and we can actually lay this under here, something like that, and then we can put this down over top of it, and this just draws a little bit more interest, and we'll fix that when we get to it. But let's go ahead and glue down everything first, and then we're going to stamp something on here. And I think I am going to use the blueberry bushel ink for this sentiment because it's going to be so pretty. So the first thing I want to do is I'm just going to take some liquid glue, and I'm going to put glue on the back of this. And I'm not going to be tight with my glue. I'm going to give enough of glue to get in all those little nooks and crannies so that we can make sure that everything is adhering properly. So let's see, I think I want it like that. I don't think there's a right or wrong way, so you just have to look at it and decide which way is more pleasing to your eye. Press that down, just like that. And then we're going to take our longer piece, and this piece is 1 1/4, no, I'm sorry, 1 1/2. This is 1 1/2 by 5, and I'm going to lay this down right about like that. And I think for this I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal. No, maybe glue. I'm going to use glue for all of this. So I'm just going to put glue all the way down this piece, making sure I'm getting it around the edges good. And then I'm going to lay this piece right about here, just like that. And then I'm going to turn this piece and I'm going to put it down, something like that. And you want to make sure you get these nice and straight on your card, because getting it straight will mean everything in the way your final product looks like. So I'm going to, again, I'm just going to put glue all over the back of this. And then I'm going to set this down. Really no right or wrong way, just try to get it nice and straight. Give it a press. And now I want to loop my ribbon. So for this, I'm going to loop like this, and I want this to be about like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my scissors on there just to hold that, and I'm going to grab my glue dots, and I'm going to grab off a glue dot. Let me grab my take your pick tool. This will help me navigate this glue dot. And I'm going to lay my ribbon back on top so I can kind of get a feel for where I want that to land. And I think something like that. And then I'm going to sit that right down in it like that. And I need another glue dot. Another glue dot to go just like that. So I'm going to put this one right up under here, and none of this is going to show because we're going to put this circle over top of it. So this circle now is going to fit something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. Let me see if I can move this just a hair. Something like that. Yeah, that's what I want. So I'm going to put glue on the back of this. And then I'm going to sit this down something like that. Maybe up just a hair. And I'm going to hold on to that just for a minute to make sure that it's adhering. Now we're going to stamp on this one, and this is where I'm going to bring in my blueberry bushel ink, and this is such a pretty color. And I am going to use, I didn't keep out my stamps that I wanted to use, so let's look and see. This is something fancy, and this is in our annual catalog. May the good you do come back to you, and I love that one. So let's see. I think that will fit on there beautifully. And I'm going to just grab a stamp block and load this up. And this is a cling stamp, so I want to tap very gently because you do not want to pick ink up around the edges or you can have a mess. So double check your stamp before you stamp. And then I'm just going to put that down just like that. Beautiful color, beautiful stamp every time. I love the inks and the stamps from Stampin' Up because they're always so beautiful. So I'm going to pop that up on dimensions, but before I do, I want to look into my gems and see if I have anything in a, oh, we got some pink ones. That would be pretty to go with the, this would be really pretty to go with that pink. I think I'm going to take out some of these, and we're going to use some of those pink ones around here just to kind of emphasize the pink ribbon. And we've got pink in our paper. We're just accenting with this blue. So I'm going to do this and just maybe one here, maybe one right there, and how about one more? Let's go right, oops, right there. All right, I'm going to turn that over and grab some dimensionals, and I'm going to grab maybe about 4 and maybe 5. We'll put one in the middle just to balance everything out. And let's pick these off. And now we can just sit this down right inside. Just like that. And isn't that a beautiful card? And you saw how simple this was to make. A very easy card. Now I'm not going to stamp the inside because I'm not sure yet who this card's going to go to or what occasion I want to send it for. I think it's just beautiful the way it is. So that's one. So let's put these back up because I don't know that I'll use these again. We might just have to pull in some other ones. I am going to leave these out so that I can list them in my description. I do like to give y'all all of the product numbers of everything that I use in case you decide you want to do one of these cards. You'll have all the tools that you need, all the numbers if you want to order anything from me, and I try to make that really easy and something that you can be able to access very easily. No one wants to struggle when you see a product that you like, trying to find it and how to order it and where did it come from. So in my PDF on my blog, you will find all the information that you need to purchase anything that you see me use. Okay, we got that done. So now the next card we're going to do, let's do the pool party. This is such a soft color, and I'm going to use these two strips for it and see how the pool party plays so well with that. So we're going to do the same thing. These pieces are very easy. They're 1.5 by 5, and this one is 2 inches by 4. So, and like I said, all of those measurements will be on the PDF. So you'll get everything you need just by going there and getting that. All right, I'm going to do Stampin' Seal this time. We're going to see the difference in using the Stampin' Seal versus the glue. And I do love my Stampin' Seal, and I say this every time I use it. They have improved the quality of this so much that it's actually a pleasure now to use. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to pull over my card base. Let me go ahead and give this a burnish. Turn it over and do it on the other side as well. And then we're going to put this piece down something like this, lining up my edges and making sure everything is uniformed. And now this piece is going to go down like that, and then this piece is going to go like this. Now the only thing we need to do is find our other pieces. Oh, what did I do with them? Ah, here they are. We have a piece of white and a piece of this. Okay, this one I want to cut it with the larger circle, so I'm going to bring over my trimmer, and I'm just going to slice off a piece of this. I don't need the full amount, the full piece, to go through my die cut machine. So I'm going to cut this like that, and let's go ahead and cut the one for this color as well. So I'm going to line that up just like I did the other one and just get an idea of where I need to cut it. And I think right about there will be good. Okay, and then we need to cut 2 pieces with this. We're going to need a piece here, and I think that will cut both of those just like that. So now we can bring up our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And bring that back right there. So I'm going to crank it out so I can get to my plate. And then I'm going to lay this right about there. And I want to lay one of the white ones right about here. And then we're going to put the cover plate over and cut both of those at the same time. That's wanting to go through a little bit crooked, so let's straighten that out. Alright, so we got those cut. And I'm going to lay that there. And I'm going to take this one off because that's going to go with our piece of Berry Burst. And we're going to lay this one back on here like so. And I'm going to grab my piece of Pool Party, and we're going to cut the bigger one out of that. So again, cover plate and crank it through. Something like that. So now we've got all of our die cutting done. So I think we're safe to put this away for now. So there is one piece. This is for our other card. And this is for this one. Okay, so we've got our pieces for that card are ready for us to cut. And I'm going to lay my dies over here so I don't lose them. And let's bring our card back over. And we're going to put this down right here. And these cards are all built the same way, so they're not hard to do. They are super simple. And it's a great way to grab some of those scraps out of your scrap bin or your leftover pieces of your designer series paper and be able to pull a card together with minimal supplies. And I think they come together so pretty. Look how gorgeous that is. I love it. So we're going to do a little bit more of Stampin' Seal. And I am using the Stampin' Seal Plus. It is my favorite. So I'm going to lay this right about here. And this one I don't think I'm going to do a ribbon with. Let me check my ribbons. I'm not sure. Well, I do have some Pool Party that is gorgeous. So maybe we'll do something a little different with this. Maybe we'll do a bow. Maybe a bow would look cute. So we'll put this here and this here. And I think I'm going to do just a single loop bow, and I'm going to do my little finger bow, and I'm going to do a single. So I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to thread that through my fingers like that, and then thread that back through here. And then I want to work this so that I get my loops a little bit tighter. That did not work out for me very well. Let's try that again. So under, and then loop this back through here. And then we're just going to rock this bow. I do really good with my double loops, but I'm not too sure about this one. Let's see if we can get a double loop out of it. Don't think we're going to have enough to do the double. Alright, we'll regroup. We'll do a bunny ear bow. We'll just bring it up like that. Let's go this way a little bit so we have a little bit more to work with. It's important to have your loops even anytime you're doing a bow. So cross that over, bring it under, feed it back through that loop, and then tie it, pull your loops, tighten it down. And these are bows that you can very easily adjust your loops on just by pulling, and then you can get those exactly like you want them, and then you can very easily snip off your, ouch, don't cut your fingers like I do. I snipped my finger right there. My husband always says I'm an accident waiting to happen. And all right, let's move our ribbon, and then what we're going to do, we are going to glue this. Let's do our stamping next. That's what we want to do. I like this one to be a okay, bear with me while I find a stamp set. I think I'm going to use this Chic, A Season of Chic. This is an older stamp set, but it's one that I think has not been used nearly enough. I like the one that says "You are amazing beyond wonder." I mean, "You are amazing beyond measure." That's cute. The thanks is really cute. "Wishing you the best birthday ever." That's very cute. So why don't we do this? Why don't we, let's see what this will look like. And we'll do that in, we'll do a tone on tone, and then I think I'm going to do the thanks right across that. So I'm going to use my Pool Party and do just a wash of color across the top of that. I think it'd be really pretty. So I'm going to pick that up and ink it up. Let's see what kind of color we're going to get with that. That's pretty. I think that's going to be really pretty on this piece. So let's just stamp that down. Give it a good press. Oh, I love that. That is so cute. Okay. So we're going to close that up. And y'all know what I just did. I did it on the wrong side. Let's see how much of that's going to cover. You know what? When you make a boo-boo, what do? We improvise. I'm going to do it the other way and look like a cross pattern on it. So, and then, oh yeah, I meant to do it like that. That's cute. Let's go in the other direction, maybe like this. Very good. Now, I still want to use it on this piece. This is the piece I intended to do it the first time, and I made a boo-boo. That happens. So now I'm just going to stamp this right in the middle, just like that. And I'm going to give some good pressure to it. Beautiful. Now we can put this on top of this. Maybe something like that. I like it. I don't think that that's bad at all. So now I'm going to use my VersaFine, and I'm going to come in with that thanks, hoping it's going to fit. If it don't, we'll do thinking of you. That's going to be a little off the edge, so let's regroup. This is what I get for not having my stamps already planned out. How about thinking of you? This will work, and I think that will be beautiful across there. All right, let's take that off of that one and grab another stamp block. We're going to pick that up and ink it up. And we're going to come in right there on that green, that beautiful pool party, and stamp it down. Very pretty. Now my question is, do I want to go with this, or do I want to turn this over? We could actually get away with turning that over. What do y'all think? I'm not sad with it like that. I think I like it. So I'm going to go with that. I think I am. Alright, so this piece I'm going to put on with dimensionals. And we're going to go there and there. And here and here. And one in the middle. And we're just going to pick these off. Turn this over, and then all we have to do is place that down right about there. And it's ready to go onto our card. And we have our little bow that's going to look adorable right there. Or up here. Or we could do the bow here in the corner. I think I like it right here. I think that's where I want that little bow to go. So I'm going to grab a glue dot. Well, let's go ahead and put the whole thing down first. I'm going to put glue on the back of this. So we're just going to put some glue on like that. Get that going in the right direction. Give it a good press. Grab a glue dot. And I'm going to press my bow, just the knot of it, right into that glue dot. And it pulls right off. And then we have a nice little adhesive to add our bow with. And there is that one. I think it does need some gems. And I think for this one I want to do just some regular rhinestones. You can never go wrong with rhinestones. So I'm going to put one right there. And maybe one here. And maybe one right there. And that is that card. Now all we need to do is put our white piece, and you know what? I think I used it for this, and I didn't save a piece for my inside of my card. I don't think I did. But you know what? It's okay, because we can always grab another piece of cardstock, because let's face it, I'm a card maker. I always have plenty of scraps. Well, look at this. I have a piece of textured already cut. How pretty would that be? But you know what? We can't use that. Because we would need to stamp and then emboss. So that's not going to work. That piece will work if we cut it down to 4. So let's just grab our trimmer, and I'm just going to line this up to 4. And we'll see what we have when I do that. Let's see if we have, it's right at 5. So let's cut another 1/4 of an inch off of it. So 3 3/4. That will make it fit in there. Sorry. Sorry about that. I have been sneezing so much lately, and I would have hoped that the allergy season would be over by now, but it seems like I keep some sort of allergy all the time, and it's okay. So, I'm so sorry. Anyway, this will get glued down and stamped. Whenever I get ready to send this card, I'll have this one completely ready to go. So that's card number 2. So now let's do our last one, which is our berry burst. And you know, I may use this. I did have another one of those somewhere. Let me put my plates back over here. I thought I had all of my cardstock cut. Alright, there's a piece for our circle, but I'm not seeing the piece I need for my, okay, there's a piece. We should still have another piece of white to go. Well, you know what, we'll improvise. We'll use this one on the outside. That one's pretty and it will work. And then we have this one to go on the inside. We still need a circle. So we're going to cut our large circle out of this. Just like that. I thought I did cut my circles. I'm all over the place, y'all. This is my circle, and I know I've got another piece of the embossed, because I did 3 of them with the exposed brick. I just don't know what I did with it. So it's here somewhere. Oh my goodness, I'm always a hot mess, it seems like, every time I go to craft. And I don't have this problem if I'm crafting alone. It seems to always happen when I'm live. Well, there's my 2 pieces that I'm going to do here. I did find those. And I know there's another piece of white that was embossed just like these were, because I did 3 of them. Oh well, we're going to go with this one. This will change it up a little bit, and it's still embossed and it's very pretty. That's much more subtle, and it's done with our 3D embossing folders, and this is 3 come in a pack, and that is one of the ones. I think I numbered that number 1. Not that they're really numbered, but anyway, I'm going to put some liquid glue on the back of this. And then I'm going to lay this down about like that. Give it a press. And then we're going to take, see, do I want to do it this way? Yeah, I think I like it like that. It doesn't really matter. It's totally a preference. So let's do this, the little one, the small gingham. And this comes from the Glorious Gingham Designer Series paper. It's in our annual catalog. And it is a gorgeous pack of paper. It has some beautiful colors in it. A lot of our new colors. So if you haven't taken a look at that, you might want to go and check it out because it is beautiful. Alright, so I'm going to take this one and lay it down about like that. And this is easy to line up because you have the lines in the gingham that helps you out a little bit. And now we're going to take our circle and sit it down about like that. And let me look and see if we have any ribbon that will coordinate with this. And I don't think we do. Nothing that I look that's screaming at me that I want to use. So you know what? We are going to go with it. I can always use white on it. And look at that cute little double bow that I did in a wide white. I think with this one I'm going to do something very simple, maybe a happy birthday. And I'm going to grab my go-to greetings. And I am going to grab out this happy birthday, I don't know, this one might be too big. It is too big for our circle. We could do a thank you card. We hadn't done thank you. That'd be pretty. We always need thank you cards. So I'm going to load that up on a block. And I think for this I am going to go in with that Berry Burst ink because it's pretty. So pretty. And see what I mean about getting ink on the outside edges? Now that will leave a shadow if I go with that, so I'm not going to go with that. I'm going to actually clean this off. So I'm just going to wipe that edge off using a cloth. And that comes from rocking your stamp when you ink. So it's very important to tap, tap, tap very gently. And just get ink on the part of the stamp that you need. So let's stamp thank you right there. And I need to decide what else I want to do on here. Do I want to do anything else? I don't think so. I'm going to grab my dimensionals, and we are going to, no Toby, we are going to put this down the same way. I use 5 dimensionals just to get everything balanced really well. Let me close that ink before I make a mess. I think I might have got my bow in it. There's nothing any more dangerous than me and an ink pad. Let's see. No, I didn't. I thought the edge of that bow got in it, but it did not. And I don't even know if I'm going to use the bow. If I do, it's going to be on the edge. It's not going to be over on the white. I think that'll be too much white. So let's go ahead and put this down on here first. Like that. And then we're going to anchor this right about there. And I don't know if we want this bow on here. This is really a big bow. I think it'll overpower the item. Let's see. I have this little shimmer ribbon that would be gorgeous. So let's see if I can just do a simple bow, and I'm just tying a simple little loop bow. This will be pretty because that iridescent glitter in there is going to pick up the color of that. Let's see if I can do this without cutting my finger this time. Much better. And see, that's going to pick up that beautiful color. So let's go ahead and put this down. Something like that, and I'm going to use some liquid glue. And then we're just going to lay this down right about here. I love it. And then I'm going to take this bow and put it right about there. So again, we need a glue dot. So I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm just going to sit my bow right into the glue dot and then sit my bow right there. And I think I'm going to go back with the rhinestones for this one as well, because I think with the glimmer on that ribbon, I think the glimmer on these rhinestones are going to be perfect. So I'm going to put one right there. Maybe one right there, And let's do one right about here. Oops. Now how did I get that to turn? I don't know. There we go. So pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? And then we've got already have a mat inside for this one. And we have finished all 3 of these cards, and you can see just how simple and easy these came together. I am thrilled with the way they turned out. So let me bring all of them over. Get my pen back in my glue. And we did 1, 2, and 3. I love each and every one of them. They're different, but they're all absolutely stunning in their own right. So you'll have to leave me a comment and tell me which one's your favorite. I think if I had to pick, I don't know. I like them all, so it's hard. It's sort of like picking your favorite child. You know, you kind of know which one that particular day is your favorite. Not really. I love my kids all the same, but I love them each differently. And I think it's the same way with our creations. We love them all, we just love them differently. So I hope you've enjoyed this little card making tutorial and how you can use your scraps of designer series paper to create a beautiful array. And you don't have to always cut them the same way I did. Play with them. Cut them in different ways. You might want to use your designer series paper as your large circle, and you might want to use some solid for your strips. Just change it up and make it yours, but just have fun with whatever you're doing. God bless and keep you, and as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. So until we craft again, God bless and keep you, and bye-bye.